Welcome back to some more Switch Sports Golf action. We have a rematch today with CBTV, who's the first person I played in this 1v1 challenge series. We're going to play a best of 3 random 9 again like we did the first time, and this could not have come at a better time for CB. He has just this week tied the world record for the random 9 high score, or I guess I should say low score, with 17 under par. There are now 3 people who have ever scored 17 under par through a random 9, random conditions, and CBTV is now one of them. So we're just going to get started here. We see a 0 wind hole 3, so a good start to try to get those low scores on camera. Let's get rolling and see if we can keep up. CB has been on fire, as you can imagine, and he's going to be a tough opponent today. We see that front left pin that I kind of like. I'm kind of a fan of this one. Let's see if we can put it to the proper spot. I'll put a tiny bit of curve on it accidentally, which is something that I haven't done in a little while. But we'll just put that out there. That's a totally fine spot. And hopefully we'll have a good chip at this. CB ends up in the bunker. But that's also a fine spot to chip from. I'm not going to hurt him necessarily. Okay, we just have to aim this out. I'm going to say to about there. If I hit it about pin high, so right about there on the power meter with some backspin, it should hopefully glide and roll back nicely. Let's try that out. Okay, that's the shot that I wanted. That's a good looking landing spot. Hopefully that bites. Oh, it just doesn't. I remember the first time that I played against CB, I had that exact look. And we both missed it. Let's see his shot here. That looks to be pretty good. It's going to come back, and his will absolutely fall. So we're going to be down 1 immediately here. I ended up just a little bit further back than he did. And he picks up the eagle on a nice rollback. Mine just didn't quite get the bite that I was looking for. We'll see if we can play well from behind and try to keep this match close and see if I can pick up an eagle at some point to try to even this thing back up. So a nice eagle to CB. 2 under to 1 under is the score through 1. Okay, so immediately after 3, we're now playing hole 4. So let's see, this is another, the first one wasn't the local pin, this is the local pin, so I play this one on the challenge series all the time. I think I'll just have to aim this one maybe to even like there. This is not going to move all that much in the air. Let's use the 3-iron. Now I have to remember these tees are a little bit further back than the local tees that I play in my challenge series, so I have to hit this one just a little bit further, but I think right about there should be fine. Let's give that a shot. Okay, that's the shot that I wanted to hit. Now let's see if it works. That's going to land in a pretty good spot. Oh, and it'll just be on the wrong side of the pin though. So CB has already tapped in the birdie. I'll have a very easy tap-in birdie as well, and just not an ace. I need to pick up that shot at some point. I don't want to play super aggressively and, you know, get myself in further trouble. I'm just going to try to play well. So 3 under to 2 under is the score through 2. All right, we've got a hole 7 with what appears to be some very light wind, which is nice. Now, what pin do we have? That's one of the tougher pins for me. However, I think I can give this one a shot. I'm not a huge fan of this pin, but I'm getting a little more used to it. Let's just hit one out there to that short fairway. It looks like CB may have gone for that further fairway and ended up in the rough, but that's not a bad spot to be. I mean, he has a tree gap to hit through. What I'm going to try to do is land this one in the short rough and try to bounce it up there nicely. So let's aim this one to about there. I think that's about right for the adjustment. Let's hit it with about that much power and see if we can get that to bounce nice and short and roll up there nicely. Okay, that looks pretty good if that just has enough distance on it. It'll actually be a little bit short. So we'll have a tougher putt here, about 7 feet, kind of side hill, a little uphill as well. We'll just have to aim this way out to the side and try to tap in this birdie here. Just have to put this with a little under a dot of power to get it up that little hill. Should curve to the left a good amount, and it does. So we'll tap in the birdie, and we'll be even through that hole, but CB maintains that 1-shot lead. So 4 under to 3 under. It looks like he had a really close call there and almost made that one. We'll see if we can maybe pick one up. We see some lighter winds once again. And a pin that's a little further back than the local tee or the local pin on this hole. So I'll have to take a slightly different approach than I otherwise would. I think we'll have to try to land this one on the front part of the green rather than short of the green on that fairway in order to get it to this pin. Don't want to hit it too far, though. Definitely don't want to end up over the back of the green, which is a risk with this pin. So we'll use the spoon I'll aim it to... I'm going to say about there. See, actually, let me go slightly more. Okay, I think that feels about right. Maybe to about there. See if we can get that one to get nice and close. Okay, that's the shot I was going for. Is that going to land short enough? Maybe take a little bounce to the left. There it is, and we'll just miss it. So we'll roll down to the back of that green, but we'll be safely short of the fringe, which is big on this hole. Definitely don't want to be on the fringe. We'll have a little 17-footer for this eagle. CB has already made his, so we'll have to make this to keep the score as it was. And that shouldn't have a problem falling. It just moves a little bit left up that hill, and we'll sink our eagle as well. So some nice eagles there. Not the hardest of conditions, but that is a touchier pin that is easy to go off the back of the green on. We have 2 special holes looming, which can always make or break a round. We see some favorable looking winds here for this one, and we actually should have a really, really close second shot.
Nice shot.
So I just have to hit this one as far as possible in this direction. It should take a nice big bounce and end up really, really close to the green. So we'll have what might be a trickier shot here, because with this wind and with this pin that is sloping way away from us, it might be a little difficult to keep this one super close. We'll have to be careful with the wedge here. Just a little under 3 dots of power. I think CB has made the birdie. We'll try out that shot. That looks really good. If that takes a little rollback, that'll be a fine spot to putt from. I wasn't necessarily trying to make that one. It would have been nice if it fell. I just wanted to not leave myself a terrible putt, which is so easy to do on this hole. But we'll have a nice little easy, just tap it up that hill, birdie, and we'll escape hole 21. So we both birdie. 7 under to 6 under is our new score after 5. We have one more special hole to play, so we'll have to try to get through that one. And I'll have to still try to pick up one shot sometime over the next 4 holes. We have hole 11 here with a pin that is so difficult to try to hit. This is one of the tougher pins, in my opinion, in this game. You have to come so close to hitting it in order to even have a chance. And it's just so difficult to get this one to roll back in. Okay, so let's just try to hit a good shot. Put it close, maybe get lucky. Let's see.
Nice
Okay, I think that's the best power I could do. Is that going to be on the correct side of the pin? It will not be. So that'll roll back nicely. That'll be a fine putt. But it's not going to be a make. As you can see, that rolls back extremely straight. And CB is going to have a similar looking shot that just doesn't roll back quite as much. Mine will be right on the edge, but I had very little expectations of actually making that one. It doesn't look like the most difficult pin, but there's just no good way to try to get to it. Because the backspin rolls so straight that if you hit it on the proper line, it hits the pin on the way by. So you either hit the pin or you lip out most of the time, if you even get it super close. We'll take a birdie there. That's kind of what I was expecting. We'll move on to our 7th hole. I now have 3 holes to play in order to try to make up that one shot that I missed on the first hole that CB made. And here's our second special hole, hole number 20, with some more difficult looking winds. It looks like we'll have some stronger winds kind of in the face. Not terrible though. I mean, we can still, I think, put it out there. Be safe of that pine tree. I'm going to hit a little curve shot here, just to try to keep this one safe. Safe of that pine tree. That should move left a good amount. We'll be in the fairway, which is pretty key. And we'll just have a nice, moderate left to right wind shot at this one. So we should be pretty safe of the tree. I can use the 3-iron and hit this just about full power. Maybe I'll try to roll it up there, but that's just a little risky, so I'm not exactly sure. I also don't want to hit that short bunker. That's also a risk. So this pin is just really hard to access, because if I go to that terrain map, it's so slopey by the hole. If I hit it with backspin, it probably is going to roll all the way back. But I feel like we have to try that out with the 3-iron. It's just a little risky, but I don't want to land this short.
Nice shot.
Okay. We'll see if that works. Hopefully that just ends up in a decent spot. It'll hit that nice front slope and glide perfectly. Okay. So my fear of it biting too hard and rolling back was mitigated by it missing the back of the green and hitting that front slope. So we may have an opportunity here. It looks like CB's putt it's a tough putt. This pin is extremely difficult. But if I make this one, we are back to all square. I'll just have to hit this one with enough power to get it up there and get it to fall. Oh man, like I said, the special holes can be the difference. They are super tough greens. 8 under to 8 under is our score. We are all square through 7. 2 holes to play. Okay, we've got hole 2 with that middle left pin and some stronger looking, I guess moderate really, right to left winds. Kind of also a little bit in the face. So what is the proper shot here? CB goes for that 5-iron. My shot on this, and it's not the best option really, but it's to go for the spoon roll up. So that's what I'm going to do. There's a little bit of wind in the face, so I put a tiny bit of extra power on it. I think I actually really like that line. If it just moves a little more right, it does hit that fringe though, and the fringe causes that to gain a lot of speed. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it hurts. We'll both have makeable birdie putts. CB has already made his. I'll tap mine in as well. So we're still tied, 9 under to 9 under through 8. We have 1 hole to play to see if either of us can take the win in game 1. Otherwise, we'll go into sudden death for this first game. So we'll just play a playoff until one of us wins the first game on a new random 9. Not the easiest of win to try to go for hole outs. The pin is a little more doable though, so maybe there's a chance even if we end up a bit shorter than we'd like to be. This pin is one of the more accessible ones in my opinion, especially with this type of wind. So I'm just going to hit mine out there to wherever it goes. It hits the rough first, which is not ideal. I'm going to lose a little bit of distance, but when the wind is this strongly in the face, it doesn't matter all that much. So let's just put this out there really anywhere.
Nice shot.
If we end up with some nice purely headwind, that would be kind of ideal. Now it's going to be difficult to get up that far. The wind's still going to be pushing right to left here. So it's not purely headwind, but it's pretty close to it. It actually is very close to it. Now, do I want to try to roll this one back? To bounce it up there, or to let it roll back, I think I'm going to try to bounce it up there. So we're going to hit this one with a little extra power, and just try to get that first bounce to be nice, and roll nicely up. Let's try that out. No spin on this one, just purely roll out. Now let's see if I can get that one to move just a little more left. It kind of bounces to a stop, which is not surprising with that wind. We'll just have to tap this one in there. And we'll end our first game in a draw. So we'll have to move on to sudden death in game 1. We've got a new random 9 queued up. This is our playoff, so whoever scores better the first time, whoever can beat the other person first in one of these holes will win the first game. And after that, we'll just cut the game and move on to a new random 9 for our second game. And here we see some difficulty on the first one. So we have 17-mile-an-hour winds pushing to the right. Let's use the tree strat. I like the tree strat in this scenario. So we'll hit this one. If we hit that first pine tree, it's fine. It's just a little bit further of a shot. So we'll put that down. We'll probably have about 190 to 200 yards, I'd say. Yeah, in that range. And we can just use the spoon and hopefully roll this up there nicely. So we'll have to aim this pretty far out to the left because this is going to move quite a bit to the right in the air. We'll have to hit this with a bit more power than we typically do because we're a little further back and it is that back pin. So let's try this out. See if we can at least put it close and try to make a little easy birdie. Okay, it's a decent looking shot. It's not on the best line, but that'll be safe, I think. Yeah, that'll just roll up nicely to a couple feet. We'll have a more straightforward birdie, one of the more straightforward birdies you can ask for on this hole from about 10 feet or so. CB has already made the birdie. He took a different approach, didn't go for the tree strat, moved or hit his drive out to the right. So let's just hit this one up there. Try to match CB's birdie. And we will. We'll sink it, pick up our birdie, and we'll move on to our second hole of this playoff. And now we'll have hole 17. I feel like this game is cursed. Whenever you're playing a sudden death, you get this kind of, I don't know, it's like a slot machine, this hole 17. There's just not a lot you can do sometimes, especially with this type of wind, to try to keep it on the green. I'm going to go for the spoon here, I think, and we'll try to just hit this one up there to a decent spot. Hopefully it can hold the green. If not, we'll just have to chip it. That actually looks really good. Oh, but it'll glide. CB has a great putt. I saw a brief look at where he was as I zoomed by. It's just so difficult, especially for me, to get that one to stay put. And this is why I say hole 17 is such a bad sudden death hole, a bad playoff hole, because this type of thing can happen, and it really just comes down to the luck of the draw. So we'll see if we can... I'm not necessarily trying to backspin this one, I'm just trying to land it and get it to, like, glide. So we'll try that out, see if we can steal a birdie on this real difficult chip from the back of the green. That looks, I mean, decent. Will it come back and fall? My goodness, it will. I'll get the backspin that I wasn't necessarily expecting. That was unexpected. I'll take it, though. I did not think I would make that one. Okay, we have some tailwind. Yeah, that is tailwind. No, it's not. It's headwind. That camera angle is so confusing with the wind on this hole 5. So we'll have that middle pin, another more accessible one here. I'm just going to hit this out there to the right side of that pine tree. With a little bit of wind in the face, we shouldn't be at risk of reaching the rough that far down the diagonal of the fairway. So we'll both be in about the same spot after our drives. Now I have a feeling that CB has a good shot at eagling this, so I'll have to give myself a good opportunity.
Nice shot.
I think the play here is going to be to use the wedge and play this one a bit more aggressively, try to put some spin on it. CB ends up in a very similar spot. I'm just a little bit further up, but it doesn't make a huge difference from this distance. So let's see. I want to land this just left of the pin, like barely left of the pin. We'll zoom this in. That looks pretty good. CB does indeed make the chip. So we'll see if I can match that. This is not going to be easy. This is not an easy shot by any means. And it's a great shot from CB to make it. Let's see if I can try to match it. Okay, I think that looks pretty decent. It's just not going to get up there, though. So I didn't quite hit that with enough power. And that'll be what decides game 1. A great chip in from CB. It doesn't really matter what I do here because this game is decided. I will just hit that putt up there. And we'll get a new match started. So we'll see you in game 2. I'll put that leaderboard up there just to confirm it. But look at that eagle from CB. A great shot from a difficult part of that fairway. All right, we're back with game 2. We've reset the seed. We're playing a new random 9 after CB took that first game after 3 playoff holes. So I'll see if I can avoid the 2-0 sweep, see if I can pick up 1 game in this 3-game set and force a 3rd game. And we're going to start with a difficult-looking hole 16. Now, how light is this wind? It's very light. Is it worth going for this shortcut? I think it is from up here, especially with that pin. I feel like this is a must-do. It's risky, but I got to go for it. Let's try it out. CB does the same.
Nice shot.
It looks like we're on very similar lines. I will be safely through that shortcut, and we'll both end up in the exact same spot pretty much. So this is a tricky little chip. I don't know if I want to backspin this one. In fact, I probably won't. I'm just going to hit this and try to roll it up there. We'll give it about... Oh man, CB's shot hit the flag. He must have gone for the backspin play and just clipped the flag. So my roll-up strategy is probably what's going to need to happen here. Let's see if I can get it to fall. That looks pretty good, and I will get it to fall. So I'll chip in for the eagle on hole 16. So a nice start for me. I'm 2 under through 1 on a par 4. And CB just misses that one and picks up the birdie. So I need to pick up this 2nd game to keep this match going. I'm off to a good start here. However, CB, as we saw, is playing extremely well. I'll have to play my absolute best to try to hold this 1-shot lead or see if I can increase it at all. We'll have some tougher winds a little bit in the face here. Some 17-mile-an-hour winds on this hole 18. Let's just put this one out there to that right fairway.
Nice shot.
That should move right a decent amount. Oh, move just a little more. Don't end up in the rough. Oh, this would be tragic if I ended up in the rough. And I will. I had this exact same condition, I think, the other day. And I wanted to put it a little more left of where I ended up that time. And I just kind of overdo it this time around. So I end up in a bit of trouble here. CB can go for that green in 2. I know you can make it, and I'm just going to have to go for this 2nd island. I'll end up in the rough again, but it's not as much of a problem from over here. I can still just hit a pretty standard shot. We'll see if CB can clutch up and pick up the eagle to even this match up. I'll have to hit a good shot here just to give myself a good opportunity at this birdie. So CB ends up on the green. I'm not sure if that's in 2. I imagine it is. Now let's see. Oh, CB makes a birdie. So he must have had to chip from short of the green there. Let's just try to make this one, or at least put it close. See if we can hit a good shot. Oh, oh, it hits the lip, and it cancels out the backspin. So that happens sometimes. If you hit the lip, the spin goes away, and it barely lips out. Or it barely, it doesn't, like, it didn't come close to making it, but it barely hits the lip, and that causes that backspin to be taken off the ball. This is now an extremely difficult chip. We'll see if I can try to steal it. Oh, and it lips out again. A double lip. The first one hurts a lot more than the second one. Second one, I end up in a fine spot. But that feels pretty brutal. We're going to make a pretty unlucky par there. That was such a good shot, but sometimes a shot that is too good ends up really hurting you in this game. 1 degree of precision away from making it can cause you to be completely off the green, and sometimes it's just out of your hands. So CB gets that shot back. We are now 2 under to 2 under through 2. And I'll have to try to get that lead back at some point to keep this match going. And we'll once again see hole 17. So what do we have to do here? I'm going to hit the driver. And I'll hit it to about there, I'd say. And see if we can try to hold this green. Try to bounce it up there. Maybe get lucky. Oh, so that one takes a big bounce, and I glide again. I just always glide on this hole 17. CB puts it real close. And he'll have a more makeable birdie putt. I just, you know, I have trouble with hole 17. This one gives me problems quite often, and we see it here. Okay, let's try to one bounce that one in, and it'll fall. So I make 2 tougher chips on this hole 17 in this match so far. And we'll be all even once again after some adventurous holes, to say the least, to begin this second game. Oh man, okay, so 3 under to 3 under. We are still tied after all of that. Wow, I escape hole 17, I get a little unlucky on hole 18, but it kind of evens out. And once again, we see this front, extremely difficult front pin to try to make, and it's such light winds that it feels like it should be pretty doable. We see CB hit the flag. Let's see if I can do any better here. I want the wind to just push this barely to the left. That looks about ideal, but even with that little bit, it barely misses the hole to the left. It barely misses it left. But there was some gap between the ball and the pin, and because of that, it rolls back and just lips out, which is unsurprising. The lip out or the pin hit happens about 90 to 95% of the time on this pin. Ooh, and CB ended up off the green. I actually didn't see where his shot went to after hitting the pin, and he'll chip in for the birdie. So that's what can happen. We see it happen to CB. You know, you barely miss making the shot, like holding the shot, and you end up just in a terrible spot. But he makes a nice save. What a 3-hole stretch this has been. Very, very chaotic, but we're still tied. It's all evened out. We've seen some chaos both ways. Okay, so we'll see some 9-mile-an-hour winds on hole 10.
Nice.
Not too bad. I'm just going to aim this a little out to the right to escape, or, I mean, not escape, but allow that to be more in the middle of the fairway rather than the left side. CB, it looks like, does the same to a further extent. And this is a pin that I like to hit backspin into. It doesn't often work on this green, but on this one it typically does. So let's aim this to about there. See if we can get lucky and get this one to fall.
Nice shot.
Okay, I think that was a pretty good shot. It's going to be too far left, though. So I put it on a good line. It would have rolled back. It had the proper rollback to make it. It's just a little bit too far left. CB will make the birdie. I'll have to tap in for mine as well. And not as much chaos on this hole. We both have some tap-in birdies, so feels good to take a little breather. 5 under to 5 under through 5. And let's see what we have here. We have... Is it the local pin? It is not. It's the further pin. So what is the 0 wind play here? I'll have to try to decide it in my head as we go.
Nice shot.
So I just have to hit this shot to the middle of that fairway. I know that's the spot to be. Now what do we have to do on this second shot? Let's try to mentally work this one out because I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so the front of this green kicks to the left, which is weird. This is just how it is, though. The back of this green rolls back to the right. So do I just have to aim straight at this one? I don't know if those will actually directly cancel each other out, but it may be pretty close, and I think it's close enough to try to just go for it. So I'm just going to hit this with a little bit of extra power, see if I can get those bounces to cancel out, and try to get lucky. Okay, that looks like it's going to fly a bit too far. That's not looking too great. Oh, take a lucky bounce. Oh, I'm going to end up over the back of the green, which is not good. Just a little too much power on that one. I played that pin pretty aggressively. Not the easiest of chips, but pretty doable. No wind definitely helps. Okay, let's try this one out. Whew, okay. I thought that might hit the pin and bounce out, but it just catches the inside of the lip, and I get it to fall. I escape with a lucky eagle. 7 under to 7 under through 6. We've both got some pretty good rounds going, considering the conditions. Okay, what pin do we have here? We have a more accessible one. So I think I want to aim this just a touch to the left. We'll club up to the spoon. We will hit it with about that much power. We'll see if we can get this one to fall. Okay, that's the exact shot I wanted. Is that going to take the proper landing spot? It looks like it. That should roll out and fall. We'll pick up a hole in one with no wind on that more accessible pin on this hole 13. We'll skip the replay and see if we can catch CB's shot. There it is. That looks to be on a pretty good line as well. It'll kick out to the right. Now, will that roll left enough? It will just end up short. Wow. Now, how that doesn't roll out like mine did, I'm not exactly sure. What a close call. I'll be at 9 under through 7, and CB will be at 8 under. That felt a little lucky to get. I actually hit the 0 wind power instead of taking anything off of it, just hoping that that would work, and it did. Now, we'll have hole 3 again. So CB will have a chance here to pick up a hole that he's pretty good at and see if he can steal an eagle. We'll have the local pin. So the pin that I play every day in my challenge series is what we'll be hitting to. We'll see if I can get an eagle on that as well. I have a high level of confidence that CB will. Now I'll have to hit this just hugging that tree, but safely left of it. Just maximum power and try to make a good chip here. So we'll be a little bit further out than I'm typically comfortable with, but we're less than 40 yards, which means I can zoom in to that mini-map and try to get a nice precise shot at this one. Let's aim it to about there. Hit it with almost 3 dots of power. So this might bite and roll back more than I would like it to. Oh, CB just misses. I saw his ball trickling towards the hole and it just doesn't fall. So a real close call there for CB. We'll see if I can hit that one about pin high-ish. Get it to roll back and trickle in. So I'll pick up the eagle there on that local pin that I've played quite a bit in my challenge series. So I do kind of clutch up towards the end of this game too to keep this match going. I'll be at 11 under through 8. CB will be at 9 under. Not the easiest seed. I didn't have the best start there, but we get it going towards the end, and we have one hole to play to see if I can hold on to this. Now we have a special hole, which can always make or break a round, and we see some not so nice looking winds. 31 miles an hour. Okay, I just need to try to make a par, really. That's what I have to do.
Nice shot.
Okay. We're just going to be safely out of all the trouble. It's going to be a longer shot, but this is just not easy in general. I probably want to club up to the spoon, actually, and just hit it with about that much power. Well over pin high. See if we can get it to land softly.
Nice.
I think that's pretty good. Hopefully that carries all the way. That actually looks really good if it takes a nice bounce. That'll take a fine bounce. That's totally fine. The spoon lands nice and softly, which it typically does for whatever reason in this game. And we'll have a pretty straightforward birdie putt. After CB sinks, I believe, a birdie as well. So he has a nice play on this one. We'll see if we can finish this game out with a nice putt, and we will. So we escape with a birdie on a hole that actually didn't end up being too difficult with the way the wind was going on that second shot. So that one feels pretty good. So I'll be 12 under through 9. A good score for me. CB will be at 10 under. I'll pick up game 2, so we are now tied 1-1. We'll move on to our third game. It all comes down to this. We are in game 3 of our 3-game set here. We're tied 1-1. CB picks up the first game after 3 playoff holes. I have a good final stretch to that second game to pick it up in regulation, but we'll move on to game 3, all square. It's a brand new game. We have 1 game to play to decide this 1v1 second match between me and CB. I'm going to use the 3-iron here. I like the 3-iron on this hole with this pin location. CB is going to go for the spoon, which is another good play. It's another play that good players frequently do. I'm just not as familiar with it. I like the 3-iron to try to put this one nice and close. About 3 dots of power, maybe slightly less. That's a little underpowered for what I would like. We'll see if that takes a nice big bounce, though. Not really. And it'll roll back, but not too bad of a spot. It's not going to be an easy putt by any means. CB already makes the birdie. Just got to hit it with plenty of power to get it up there. See if we can get this one to sink. That looks pretty good, and it'll fall. So we'll pick up A scary birdie, a little 20-foot double breaking uphill putt on a very tough hole 8 pin. A good start for both of us, not the easiest pin to putt to, but we both make our putts. We've got hole 6 here, and then a lot of the back 9. So we have 6, 5, and then all back 9 holes after that. We may end up seeing some lower scores here with all that going on, so that'll be fun in this third game. We'll see if CB and I can push this nice and low under par.
Nice shot.
I'm going to go for the tree strat. CB, once again, goes for the fairway. So, I mean, he did pretty well to make the birdie on the first time. I'm going to use the spoon to roll it up there. We'll have 193 yards, so I have to hit this a little further. See if we can get it to fall. Okay, that was the ideal shot, the exact shot I was looking for. Oh, is that going to be a little too far? It'll hit the short fairway and kick curiously left. I've never seen a left kick there, but I did hit that one too far. We'll end up 17 feet away. We'll have a makeable birdie putt. But that wasn't the kick I was expecting off that front fairway, and that's a great looking shot from CB that hits the flag and just bounces out to the right. Wow, what a close call there. I'll have to hit this one up the hill with a good amount of speed. I want to keep this putt pretty straight. We'll put it up there and get it to fall. We'll both make birdies. CB with a much, much closer call than myself. So birdies around once again. 2 under through 2 is both of our scores. We'll move on to this third hole and see if one of us can pick up an early lead in this game 3. We'll have hole 5 with... Is that some helping wind this time? It's tough to tell with this camera. No, it's some wind in the face. 20 miles an hour kind of in the face. We'll actually just aim this right where the game starts us out. It's going to move left in that fairway. It should hopefully bounce off the fairway first, and it will. We'll end up doing the best we can, but you can't get this one super close into. It'll be a much further third shot, but not too bad of a pin. That middle pin in the screen is not too bad. We'll try to give ourselves a good amount of pure headwind, so there's not a lot of sideways wind to deal with. So I'm going to put this way out to the left. CB takes the same strategy and may have actually done a better job than me at getting there. So he'll have a better looking chip, I believe. Mine's going to move a little more right to left, yeah. But it's not too bad. We can still each have a chance to put this up there. I'm going to use the 9-iron and try to roll this one out. See if we can get this one to get up there and maybe fall. Let me make sure, double check that I have the proper power. I do. You don't want to hit to the wrong dot when you don't need to. And that looks like a pretty good shot. It's going to bounce and fall. So I'll pick up the eagle on this hole 5 with some tougher winds. So I'll be at 4 under through 3. CB will be at 3 under. And like I said in the first game, CB has been playing very well. I have a feeling he'll make some eagles here. I'll need to fend him off. Okay, so now we'll see an interesting, I feel like I say interesting a lot, but it is interesting. An interesting hole 15. So I'll use the driver. I'll take a bit off of it, actually quite a bit off of it, to there should be the proper first shot. That'll hopefully land in the fairway or in the short rough. Either way is fine. And it should bounce to a stop. And from here, we'll have a very straightforward downwind shot. So the wind is going to move this just very slightly to the left. I actually kind of want to aim straight at this because the bounce should go a little right. So let's try this out. We'll hit it with a little over, like fringe power. So that front fringe is where I'm aiming towards. I want to just land it a little beyond that and let it roll up there. So a little less than 3.5 dots should be pretty good. Right about there. See if we can get lucky and get this one to maybe fall or at least be nice and close. That feels like a good shot. Is that going to take a nice big first bounce? It will. But it just doesn't move to the right at all when you hit the fringe. If that hit the green first, it may not have had the power I was looking for. The fringe causes it to bounce a lot further, but the green kicks to the right a little bit. So just needed a slightly different shot there than the one I actually hit. We'll tap in a birdie though, not a big deal. So I still have that 1-shot lead, 5 under to 4 under through 4. Okay, we'll have another chance at hole 13 here. A different pin this time around. Yeah, a different pin. I'll need to aim this out to about there and try to land this. I'd say just a little right of the cup with the 5-iron and the backspin. We'll try out that shot. That feels pretty good. See if we can't put this one close. Okay, I think that was pretty good. Is that going to be the proper power? That may just be a little too much. We'll see, though. That should zip back, but just not quite enough. So it was on a good line. That was on a good landing spot, but it just is a little bit too far. We'll have to tap in a birdie. or hopefully tap in a birdie. This is not the easiest of putts. I'll aim this out to the left a bit. Get it to fall, and we'll move on. So I still have that one-shot lead through 5. We have 4 holes to play. It'll be 6 under to 5 under. And we have a whole bunch of the back 9 left to play, some par 5s that could be some eagle opportunities for each of us. Okay, hole 14. Always a more eagleable hole. We'll see some lighter looking winds pushing just a bit out to the right. So perhaps an albatross opportunity. We can at least each put it pretty close and see if one of us can sink it. Let's hit this one with about that much power. Put it through that tree gap. And give ourselves a chance. So we're both going for that same tree gap. I'll hit mine pretty perfectly right in the middle of that little triangle between all the trees. I'll end up in almost the exact same spot as CB, and we'll have very similar looking shots at a pretty accessible pin here. So I want to land this just a little bit to the left of the cup. The front fairway should kick a bit right. We'll see if we can get that to bounce nicely and fall. We'll try it about pin high power. That should get there. Let's not red bar it. Let's try that out. See if we can get it to fall. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. Is that going to take just a little kick to the right? Not really. Okay. It'll roll back. But I wanted that to just kick a little bit to the right, and it just doesn't quite. I'll have a pretty makeable eagle putt, though. Just a little bit down that hill from left to right. And then it doesn't really do much after that, so we'll just tap it down there with a little over a dot of power. Make sure we get it there. Oh, it just falls inside the right edge. Not my best putt at that. And I'll maintain that lead, so 8 under to 7 under. We both eagle that hole. We'll have 3 holes to play to see if I can close this thing out. Once again, hole 17. We have seen this plenty of times. I feel like 1v1s, like I said, are cursed to just have hole 17 all the time. Let's aim this one a good amount out to the left. See if we can bounce this up there nicely. I'm not the best at bouncing it up there nicely, as you have seen. Let's just try to... Okay, do I want to aim this a little more out to the left? I think that's probably fine.
Nice shot.
There are good spots to hit this. I mean, CB has ended up on the green every time. Yeah, and that time I bounced nicely to a stop, and it looks like CB got the launch. So I'll have a 50-footer, and CB will be right by the hole. He's obviously a bit better at this hole than I am. We'll see if we can escape here with a make, though. Not an easy putt by any means. What exactly is this going to do? It's going to move a bit to the right at the start, but then from there on out, just left the whole way. So let's hit this with a little over 3 dots of power. Make sure we get it there. Not quite full, though. Just a little over 3 dots of power. See if we can get lucky. That feels like a good putt. If that trickles down, and from 50 feet, we'll sink the birdie putt. A very clutch feeling putt after CB had already made a much easier birdie. And I've had 3 shots at this hole 17. One of them was a ridiculous chip-in. The other one was a more straightforward but longer chip-in. And then I make a 50-foot putt. So hole 17, I have not played well, but I've escaped with birdies every time, which feels a little absurd. We'll see some wins where it looks like we should be able to make the shortcut. 13 miles an hour, not too much of an issue. I'll want to hit this full power. Let's aim this to about there. And just try to put this safely through.
Nice shot.
Okay, I think that's the proper shot. That should curve left and escape all the tree trouble. Will that launch? It will not. It'll just bounce to a stop. I think I'll want to use the backspin to put this up there and just avoid any sort of trouble with the putt. But this is not an easy chip to try to hole out. I'll hit it with pin high power and give it a chance. But the leave here is definitely low of the hole and left. And if I miss, that's where I'll end up. That's kind of the idea. Let's see if we can get lucky and try to make this one, though. Let's try it out. Oh, did CB make that? It doesn't look like it. Now mine will trickle back. Oh, and it'll lip out. So I don't end up low of the hole like I want it to be. If that didn't lip out, that would have been a nice straightforward putt. I mean, it's not too bad from here, but it's just a little side hilly, a little too side hilly for my taste. CB has made the birdie, so I need to make sure to hit this one up there and get it to fall. And I will. A scary little putt, but we'll get it to sink after a near miss. Okay, with 1 hole to play, I'll be at 10 under, CB will be at 9 under. I have that 1-shot lead, and we'll be heading into, I believe, hole 12, and we'll have some more difficult wind here. So if I can pick up the eagle, actually no, this wind isn't too bad. The camera faked me out again. It makes the wind look like it's moving a lot more. Okay, 4 miles an hour, right to left. We'll see if CB can pick up a clutch albatross. I think he has a pretty good chance of doing it with this pin location. We'll both have shots at it though. We'll use the spoon. So let's aim this one to about there. 4 miles an hour feels like it's not going to push it all that much though. Let's be a little safer. Aim it to about there. We'll hit it with the proper power. Right about there. See if we can get lucky. Okay. That feels like a safe shot. That's going to move nicely in that direction. Oh, is it going to take a nice big bounce up? Oh, I'll barely miss the albatross. Just on the right side. So that'll be a pretty easy eagle putt. Perhaps we'll wait and see how CB's shot is looking. Actually, he hasn't hit it yet, so let me tap mine in. And we'll see how CB's shot looks. Let's go to his camera angle. There we go. Can CB make this albatross to tie this match back up? He's going to be going for the same type of strategy that I did with the spoon. I almost made it. We'll see if he can have a slightly better shot at it. That looks like it's on a pretty good line. Oh, it'll miss left though. So the camera angle kind of faked me out. It does indeed miss left. And I'll be at 12 under in this third game. CB will be at 11 under. A great match. A very, very fun match. I feel like we both played pretty well. I just hit one more shot in that final game, and that's what it came down to. So I'll take a 12 under. That's a good score for me. Great games to CB in this rematch. We are now 1-1 in our lifetime 1v1 matches. I hope to play him again to decide, who is overall going to take the lead in this series. But what a match. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one.